So welcome to Joel Green Uncut, and I've got a special guest with me. He is a bit of a familiar face, I have to say. I've known him for a little while now, and he's a great friend of mine. It's Jordan Woods, the man that seems to just be involved in everything these days.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
How you doing? How you doing?
No, I'm doing good, just keep working away for God and stuff. So I know God's definitely been, I don't know, since like Easter time has been, God's just really put a spark in me and my wife, and we just want to go out and reach people for God again. It's like, I don't know, it's just the goodness of God,
Oh, mate, that's what it comes down to. It's what it comes down to, mate. It's all for him.
Yeah,
and how is the beautiful family? They're all okay?
Yeah, family's going well. Yeah, family's all good. Yeah, like I said, we're just pushing on for God. God's just been opening the door for me and my wife to go and speak to different people, speak at different missions and all that. God's just really, and then we're going to be opening up the gym and all too, to go out and speak for God as well. Like, and then even recently, a few days ago, a guy from the gym, he came to watch me do an interview in a different church. Then he texted me after and goes, how did I get saved? Then the next day, I led him the Lord. So it's
amazing.
God's definitely been, I don't know, it's just definitely in me and my wife. We're just definitely just going out there and just like pushing on. And yes, it can get tough as well. But seeing you doing it for God, if it's going to be tough, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Because if you can like reach out to one person, anything you go through is worth it to get that person. You know what I mean?
Well, you say things can get tough. It hasn't always been as good as it is now, has it?
No.
You've been through your rough patch. You've been through some real difficult times, and when did that all sort of happen? Because you were quite young, weren't you? Sort of started going in your clubbing phase, should we say?
What was it, sorry?
Your clubbing phase of going out.
So just whenever I was quite young, I was just hanging about with the wrong people, and
well, you're only young now.
Okay.
You're only young now.
No, I'm nearly 43 now, getting old.
Oh, don't push it.
But it all started on the wrong crowd, and then I know I'm so easily led. So because I'm easily led, like if my friends were doing it, I want to do it too. I want the peace, you know what I mean? So I started off with drink, smoking a wee bit of cannabis and stuff, laugh with the friends. Then, before you know it, the stronger drugs came out, and I've got like a addictive personality. So once I try something once, that's me, I'm hooked. And as a guy who started off experimenting, I ended up being the guy who was an addict and just taking it flat out, selling. I would have sold your granny's flip flops to get a bag of gear. It got that bad where you would have done anything just to get your next high. So what I mean? So it was definitely a tough stage in my life, and it's even the Christian walk as well in itself can be a tough stage. It can be tough as well, and you can nearly go away, and your heart can go cold. You can go cold. You can get indifferent. But as we said at the start of the video, I feel like God's put a fire back in me to reach out to different people, and it's the people at the boxing club to start with. Like it's the people that we want to reach first, and then that's why we said about doing the night and all in the gym. And we're maybe going to be starting, I don't know if you've heard of it, an alpha course. We're maybe going to start an alpha course here starting in September. So it's a good, relaxed atmosphere. You come, you get some tea, buns, some food, and you get to talk about God, talk about these, whatever your questions might be. But it's a good, non-judgmental place to come, and whatever you might be worried about, whatever you want to talk about, just talk it out. There's no trying to win arguments. We're just there to talk. You know what I mean?
There's no right or wrong answer, is there? It's a case of having those questions, having those topics of discussion. They're healthy. It's better to talk than not to, isn't it? As we both know.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I was reading it in the Acts, I was reading Acts this morning, and Acts, I think it's 16-17, it talks about that, like how this woman, she was rich, she had those purple clothes and all, and the only way she was able to believe was because of the Holy Spirit, because God put it in her heart to believe. So it's not up to us to convince people, it's up to God to convince that person. So we can say our bit and say what we believe, but then it's up to God to do the work and do whatever He
Yeah.
needs to do for that person to be saved.
Yeah,
So it is.
we can plant the seed, can't we? And
Yeah,
we can water it, but it's down to nurturing, isn't it?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that comes from him.
100%.
But yeah, as you say, it's like just going back. I don't want to go too deep on it, but
Yeah.
you were saying, obviously you went through that difficult patch. You hit the harder stuff, and then it became almost you that was doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
How did you manage to sort of turn that around? Like, because obviously you've gone through that phase of doing it because it's socially the thing to do. It's the thing to be in with the crowd. It's to be with your mates. To not be the odd one out. Which sadly, that's. I think we're going down that road with a lot of youngsters now,
100%.
and just people in general.
Yeah.
But how did you sort of manage to think to yourself, what was the breaking point, Jordan? What was
Yeah.
that turning point for you?
Breaking point was I was in a police cell. Like it happened to me loads of times. I didn't end up in a police cell, and I don't know. Whenever I was young, I was told to pray when things go wrong. So every time I got arrested, I would pray. I would pray out to God, say, God, would you get me out of such and such? And I promise you, I'll change my life around. I used to give these pleas to God nearly once a month. I used to give it all the time. Every time I got in trouble, I would pray to God. God always done His part and got me out of it. But I kept going back and kept going back, kept going back. But then it just came a breaking point in 2015, and in 2015 I got arrested, and then I ended up see the same weekend I got arrested, I ended up going to church. It was just mad how it all worked out. And I ended up going to church, and it was like by chance I ended up in church, but I knew God had me there for a reason. I knew that it was my time that I needed to get saved, and it was a fear of the pastor was preaching heaven, hell. Where would you go if you died tonight? And I knew I would have went to hell, so I knew I needed to leave that church that night saved. And I didn't come out of that church, and I was completely free straight away from the drugs because I still kind of struggled at the very start. But what I would say to young believers is and people is to get around other Christians, people that have already been there and done it, because that was my problem. I was trying to live two lives, live a part of the
Yeah,
world and live a part of the
yeah.
Christian life. But it's never going to work. You have to pick. You have to choose one or the other. Because if you're halfway there, you're not fully there, and then you're just not there at all. You know what I mean? But
And as
yeah,
they say, don't they? As they say, what you surround yourself with, you become.
yeah,
So, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are taking drugs and drinking and all the rest of it, then you find yourself
yeah. You want
taking
to,
drugs and drinking. Where
yeah,
if you're surrounded by and even in not even just in being in a church or Christian values,
yeah,
if you're surrounded by positive people, you
yeah,
feel more positive. If you're
yeah,
surrounded by negativity, you're negative. It's one of those. It's like the sheep effect, isn't it? Almost like
100%. Like
like
you're known by. Like I remember doing a video about this years ago, right? But you're known by who you run about with, and you get a label. So if you're running about with people and they're getting up the just I know just put a crazy example. Say someone who goes around robbing grannies. Just saying it. Right? Someone going around robbing grannies and you're running about with that person, you're gonna be known for their label.
yeah,
And it's the same as like no one now is gonna go and call this is a bit off topic, but no one's gonna go and now call their child Judas because of what Judas done, he betrayed Jesus. You know what I mean? So you're always gonna be labeled of what you do, you know what I mean? So whoever you surround yourself, that's what you're gonna be labeled as. So you need to be
yeah.
very careful. And I think yes, I did struggle at the very start to get away from my friend group. And then it was actually this one house meeting I went to. And in this house meeting, I remember like I still had a wee pack of fags in my pocket. And I remember we were literally worshiping God. And when we were worshiping God, it was like the Holy Spirit was there, and we were singing that song. I uh, like I am singing this whole there's angels all around, and I could literally feel like there was angels all around. And from that day, I was like, that's it. I was going teetotal, and I came off it all, and then started changing who I ran out with. Started boxing. I started boxing as well. Boxing was my good thing to keep me off the street and keep me on the
That was
street.
your escape. Your escape.
Yeah, that was part of my escape. I think, yes, Jesus came in and saved me, but I needed something to do. and I believe boxing was a good outlook for me. And also going that there, like, place and be a light, you know what I mean? And try
Mhm.
and show people hope. Because I remember even inviting people to church in the boxing, they end up getting saved and stuff. So I believe God was having me there for a reason. End of the boxing. To try
Well, and look what he's done since. Let's be perfectly honest. You've
yeah,
gone, you know,
yeah,
you've gone from having it as almost like a way out
yeah.
to having it as an outlet
Mm-hmm.
to having it now as an outlet for others. And
Mm-hmm.
now, you know, the journey you've been on and the people you've met, you know,
Yeah,
and you know the journey you've been on in general
yeah,
has just been outstanding. It's, you know, God has blessed you for it, but at the same time, I think it's a case of you've you've got yourself in the right situations to be able to do it. You know, it's not a case of, you know, like you said earlier, God bailed me out time and time again
mm-hmm.
out of prison. But
Mm-hmm.
I have to do as well. God likes a doer. He
Yeah,
doesn't want someone who's
yeah,
going to go, yeah, I've done that for you. I'll be there next time. He wants you to go, right, what are we going to do next?
yeah.
And you've now gone on to do some extraordinary things. I like how you've strategically put the t-shirt on. It's very good.
Mm.
Uh,
Cornerstone, Cornerstone. Yes.
that's it though. But you know, Cornerstone Boxing, it's how I met you. You know,
Yeah,
it's the first conversation we had.
yeah,
And it's just gone from strength to strength.
yeah,
You know, for what you've achieved, for the people that you've made a difference to, you know, the chance you've had to have those conversations, you know, your wife, you know, it's just been incredible, isn't it?
yeah. Like the Christian life is not. There's plenty
Oh,
of, and you nearly in that there moments of times you nearly walk away from God. You get so cold sometimes. Like I remember like getting around other Christians, and I thought these were like Christians that were walking with God, but they weren't. And then that turned me down like a dark path. And then I was going like so much. I was going so far, far, far away from God. I got to that far away from God that I couldn't even recognize myself. And then it wasn't like we said until my wife came into the picture. And then my wife came in the picture that gave new life to me. And then like I've said in testimony before, like I grew up with a father figure, didn't have that guidance, and then I was able to be a father figure this sack with my son. But it's like God just used even the hard stuff, and then I even believe now that even them times of me going cold and me nearly walking away from God, I believe God does a purpose behind that, and that's like it says in Psalm 51. It says that God, you may save me, then I can go teach all people your ways, and I believe that that's what God is doing is like for me to make some mistakes and then maybe be able to teach other people not to go down that way, if you get me. But yeah, God's been so amazing and what He's done, and I even like see like me and my wife, first year of marriage, and people may know like being married, it's not always easy. You know what I mean? It's not always easy, but we what know what you notice is see if you take God out of it, there's no point doing it because God is the only thing that keeps you together. Because marriage is hard, marriage is difficult, things can come against. But see, when you have Jesus in the center, in the cornerstone of the marriage, see, when you have Jesus in the center, like it's like it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
she did say it was hard work. She did
Yeah.
say it was hard
Yeah.
work. No, yeah, it's a journey, and as you say, the journey you've been on and what you've been through, and now you get to implement your knowledge, your understanding, your background into others, but also into your boxing, because you're obviously going to get a lot of other people that go down that path that are looking for boxing
Yeah.
as that outlet, like you did. So,
Yeah.
you know, you're a great guy, Jordan. There's no denying it, and I know you're a very modest guy as well.
Yeah.
And but you know, it does take hard work.
Yeah.
It does take dedication. You know, and you're still boxing yourself. You still won't hang up the gloves, will you?
Yeah.
You still won't do it. I know your wife probably says, "Come on, this has got to be the last one now." But you're a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I was meant to be a big one in the sea view, the football stadium in Seaview, but then I know something happened with planning permission, so it's now in the Europa Hotel. But it's still a big hotel. If I'm not correct, I think it was like the most bombed hotel in Europe or something at one stage during the Troubles.
Oh,
So,
nice.
but it is it's still a big fight. But see, the reason why I'm getting to do the boxing, because see towards the end, yes, I was still nearly giving God the glory, but I still want to like use that as an outlet to give God the glory, and that's why I'm boxing. I'm not boxing to win any more belts because I've got enough. I'm not. That
Yeah,
is not.
all right, all right.
That is not
Every
the main.
time, I'll tell you, while you talk about that, every time I saw you at one point, you had a different strap over your shoulder. You were a nightmare.
I
You
know, I know,
and,
I know,
and,
but
and
that's
you
it.
went, oh, just I'm going to get another one, and that's all I used to get in a text. I'm gonna win this one this weekend. He used to come in with a white one,
Yeah,
different one,
yeah.
and I thought,
That's
now
what
he's
happened.
created his own belts as well,
Yeah,
haven't you?
yeah.
You know,
That's what happened as well. Like people try and make it all about winning. Okay, like boxing, and yes, you want to win, but I always say it's how people react after. That's what makes a winner. See if you see, even if you win and you act in such a way, to me you're a loser. I mean, if you act in a way where it's like, like you're too good, and then but then if you lose and you're so humble, it's how you act is the main thing. And
well, I'm going to take you back to one. I'm going to take you back to one,
yeah,
right? You had a fight. I'm not going to name anyone.
yeah,
You had a fight with a particular person.
yeah,
I watched it live because
yeah,
you set up a camera. Do you remember?
yeah.
And I was sat there watching it, and then all of a sudden, a particular fight didn't go a particular person's way,
Yeah,
and you got handed the win,
yeah,
and it was all a bit
yeah,
wishy-washy. It was a little bit
yeah,
controversial.
yeah,
But as you say, it's how you are in defeat. You should be the same in defeat as you are in victory. You
yeah.
know, it, not everyone is, and in the heat of the moment as well. I totally understand that. You've just fought your guts out for, for however
I'd be the
long.
first. I'd be the first one to admit. Sometimes you do. You get the nod when maybe you didn't know it, you didn't get the job done, but you still get the nod. But then there's times you don't get the nod when you should have got the nod. So and like the amount of
It's like
fights I've
that.
had, I believe it
Yeah,
kind of evens itself out. It kind of
yeah,
evens
yeah.
itself out. You know what I mean? You get some, you don't. You get some, but yeah,
Do you know what? Do you know what fight I was talking about?
yeah. Yeah, no fight you're going about. It was I actually had a fight there in March, sort of. I actually had a fight there in March, and then I don't know. It's just like you say, oh, I'm going to retire, but then I end up being like, oh, I'll have another one. But
Here we go.
I've prayed about it, and I believe there's still work to be done, and you can still reach out for God, and may it be boxing, walking out to worship music, and just being a light, and being around people, and being around the scene. And yes, I can always be around the scene being a coach, but whenever you're fighting as well, I don't know, it's just representing Christ. That's what I want to do.
Well, Mickey has jumped in. Thank you very much, Mickey. Just a shout out to Jam earlier who jumped in. Red Corner Boxing. Big shout out to him. He said hi, Joel and Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mickey's jumped in. He's put Jordan is a very underrated fighter in Ireland. He's a top fella. Who's his prediction for Crocker versus Donovan 2?
Is he pulling me a sly one? Is he pulling me a sly one? My honest opinion on that one. You gonna get me beat up in Belfast if I say what I think.
It's not me, mate. It was Mickey.
Yeah. I like watching the fight. I was actually at the fight.
Don't avoid the subject. You're dancing around it. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I was at the fight, and
yeah,
just look at that. Like Donovan looks to be world class, and I just think Crocker just doesn't seem to be there yet. You know what I mean? That's my honest opinion on it. I believe, and yes, you can say about the cut, and yes, getting the cut, you may not be able to see, you may not be able to fight as good as well. So you take that into consideration as well. But looking at it as the fight, it just looked like there'd be one winner, and that was Donovan. So I think, like, if you look at both of them and say who would be fighting for a world title next, you would more sway towards Donovan. So you would.
Fair enough, mate. I just want.
Crocker. I love Crocker, so I love Crocker too. You know what I mean? So
I like what you did there. That was a good comeback.
I had to take it back. But yeah.
You got to cover yourself. Got to cover yourself.
100%. But it was such a great buzz. See, me and my wife actually went that fight. The buzz of the ring walks and all. It was actually unreal. So it was, and like the one way me and my wife went through before wasn't that hype they got. So to actually be at the Odyssey when it was full and everyone singing top of their lungs, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So one thing I will ask: if boxing didn't exist, what would you be doing?
See, that's a funny thing about it. I always wanted to be involved in sport, but I was never good at anything. I was speaking about this on Sunday. Like I wanted to be football. I wanted to be in the football, but this was no good. So, and then when I came to, like, I don't know, if I came to like being picked for a football team, I was like the last one picked and all. I just wasn't good. I just wasn't good. So, and even I remember even trying running and all. I was the slowest in running. So I think boxing, as I say.
Oh dear, mate. Oh dear.
I'm in trouble. No, but I think like out of sports, I just don't think I was good at any sports really. I just think boxing I just had a knack for it, and I just seemed to enjoy it, and it was something that I always had a desire to do. And then when I came along, I just took it.
Well, all I will say is, Jordan, the journey you've been on, the person you've become, you know, even in the time that I've known you, which is God, over 4 years now. It's 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, you're just a top bloke. You know, you do everything for other people. You've always put other people first. You know, you're just a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's passionate about what he does, and you've got the drive to, you know, not necessarily succeed, but to see others succeed.
Yeah.
And you know, that's amazing. It genuinely is. You're a real credit to your family, to your wife. We've got to say that she's there. But but
she's laughing upstairs. She's laughing
that's
upstairs.
That's it. She'll be keeping an eye, mate. She's keeping an eye. But no, honestly, you're a real credit. You really are, and a real blessing to a lot of people. You know, me included. You know, when I went through a rough patch, you were the one giving me the texts and all the rest of it. And
we'll have to get you over sometime for one of the shows. We keep saying it, but the next one's in September. So somehow
my wife is desperate to get over to Ireland, so
it'll be good. It'll be good, and then catch up and all. No, but I even hear like you're like, what is that? I love what? I love. Yeah, that's going to be a debate now. That's going to be.
To be fair, mate, all I'm going to say is that is a fight you won't win. So just you know
that. No, that's what she's talking about because yeah, she wants Crocker to win the rematch. So and then I was like, I think Donovan's just that bit better, but time will tell. Time will tell.
Next time I get you on, you'll just come on with black eyes and you won't have had a fight.
No, but I think even we were talking the other day, and you even were saying yourself that yes, you still obviously still like to watch the boxing, but you came kind of like not being absorbing yourself too much into it. Like, is that you're trying to get yourself back with God or something like that? Is it?
I like how you've turned the tables here. Hang on, there we go. But no, it gets to a point sometimes where you have to reevaluate things, and you have to look at what's working. You know, are you spending enough time with family? Are you spending enough time with, you know, with God? Are you doing the right things? And that's what it came down to for me. It was reevaluating, and sometimes you do have to step away from something that you do really love, but at the same time, for the right reason. You know, you then have to pick the right path that you're actually supposed to be on, as opposed to a path that you just really enjoy. You've been blessed on it, but at the same time, you then know when it's time to move on to something and do something else. You know, it's important to learn that, because you can go on and then end up burning something out, or you end up hating it. As you know, you've got to do what's right, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the point I was at. So hang on a sec, I'm just going to go back. But no, I get it. I do. I totally get it. And to see, like, as I say, to see the journey you've been on, and you and your wife, you know, getting baptized and doing all amazing stuff. It's just incredible, you know. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. As I say, you'll have to do your Alpha course live, put it out there.
I was even thinking about. I'd be thinking about starting like a Zoom call thing, and like a man of prayer, a man talking about God or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just been like praying and seeing what God wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I'm not a Christian too. That they seem a bit stuck, and they're stuck for fellowship and all too. So it's like just trying to get it. It's just trying to get around each other and just like to be encouraging it to one another.
Yeah.
As well.
No, definitely. Definitely.
So,
Well, honestly, mate, as I say, you're an absolute credit, and the stuff you've been doing has just been amazing. And I pray continues to bless you at this time.
Yeah, that's all I'm about to say. So last year I got introduced to I think the chairman of the chaplaincy of Ireland, Phil Mitchell, he called him. And so he got me. I was speaking in Windsor Park, and then after that, then someone invited me along. It actually happened there only on Sunday to do the wee interview thing, and then Phil came that there, and then Phil just goes, "Look, I'm going to put you and your wife as sport chaplains of Cornerstone Boxing Academy." So that's just amazing, and it's just me and my wife just trying to reach out to certain people, and reach out like the most people we want to do is reach out to broken people, and that's what we're going to do. But like we're starting this testimony night in the gym. It's going to be like us in the boxing ring and then get the seats and all, and it's going to be like golf filled night. But after me and my wife do it, it's going to start off me and my wife, and then after that it's going to be the first. Going to be the last Friday, but now it's the first Friday of every month. We're going to have like 2 people come along giving their testimonies and sharing what God's done in their lives. And yeah, it's just going to be amazing. And just pray that God's going to bless it. And people get saved and lives get transformed, like me and my wife get transformed. And the way God brought me and my wife together, it's just been nothing but amazing. Nothing but amazing. It's crazy because like that's what I said in the wee interview. Like I literally was at one of my fights and done a wee interview, and when he asked me a question, I just started thanking the Lord Jesus. And then my wife seen it. This was like 3 years ago. My wife seen it. This was before we even knew each other, not knowing that 3 years later, like it's going to be a husband. It's just crazy how God can work things out, and how God us together, and yeah, it's just amazing.
No, 100%, mate. Yeah. Well, we'll end it on a high. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jordan.
And it's been good. God's been good, and yeah, it's just really good at the moment. So, yeah.
What message do you want to give to people who are going through a bit of a rough patch? Someone who's been there and they've come out the other side. And don't get me wrong, I know it's a narrow road. It is a narrow road, but at the same time, what can you say to others who are going through that rough patch at the moment?
Like I said earlier, it's like I was saying about your company. It's like your company. Get yourself around good people, and get yourself even like if you want to get like know about God, get yourself a couple of maybe a Christian friends or people that know about God. Try and get around them. Try and learn about God yourself. And I'd also recommend getting into sport because I believe sport is a good outlet and it can help you like mentally and as well and physically too. So it's definitely it's definitely changing your company, changing your surroundings. As I said before. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much, Jordan.
Thank you.
Love to Charlotte. Yes. I'll let you have that fight now. So
yes.
Love to Charlotte. And what's little man's name? Well, not so little now.
Dak, it's his birthday this weekend.
Oh, so happy birthday. Yeah. Big shout out to him as well. He's a top lad. I always see him smiling in photos and stuff. It's lovely to see.
He's had about 6 or 7 exhibitions now, so he's doing all right. So So that's good. It's good to see. Following his dad's footsteps, so it's good.
That's it. That's it. Well, I'll let you go, mate, and
Thank you.
we'll catch up soon. Thank you very
Yes,
much
thank
for
you
your
so much for
time.
having me on. God bless. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, mate. God
Cheers,
bless.
mate.